Santa Clarita's hometown station, KHTS. This is the Hometown Morning Show with Tori and Kyle. We have a very special guest on the line.
I know.
Yeah. I'm a little nervous.
I was going to say, are we even worthy?
No.
Okay.
No, we're definitely not worthy. But that's okay, because on the line we have performing at the Canyons Performing Arts Center on Saturday, September 9th. Get your tickets now, canyonspac.com, because tickets for his other shows are already sold out in the area, so make sure you get your tickets as soon as possible. Saturday, September 9th, an individual with 6 studio albums. His music has been featured in 350 films, television, or commercials. Just unbelievable. Music like that. There's those certain songs that kind of just become part of culture.
Right.
And he has a few of those songs.
Here's the thing. We kind of just gave it away because we just played a Five for Fighting song. So we kind of, I don't know how big of a surprise it is because we literally just played one of the biggest songs from Five for Fighting. But listen, again, we're not worthy.
Yes.
We've just proven that point.
Yes.
But on the line now, welcome to the Hometown Morning Show.
We have John Ondrasik on the line. Welcome to the Hometown Morning Show.
Hey, Tori. Hey, Kyle. Good morning.
We are so not worthy. It's so fun to have you on the line with us this morning. We just played Superman, which has to be stratosphere. Absolutely out of this world as far as probably your biggest hit ever, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I think Superman's certainly the first song that the people kind of heard from us. 100 Years, in some ways, has found its way as well. A lot of folks like to make home movies or graduations with that song, but certainly Superman launched us, and it's still kind of my firstborn, and I still love playing it every night, even though I've played it 10,000 times.
I'm sure you have played it, and we do have 100, by the way, we have 100 years coming up too. A couple of questions for you. You're going to be in town. This is so exciting for Santa Clarita. You're going to be in town. You start at Thousand Oaks for a couple of dates, and then you come here in Santa Clarita. Thousand Oaks dates, from what I understand, are sold out. So we're going to sell the seats here in Santa Clarita, and you're going to be here September 9th with an intimate, they're calling it an intimate string quartet. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I've been blessed to play with so many great musicians, and a few years ago we started doing symphony shows, which was a lot of fun, and we wanted to take it to kind of smaller markets, smaller venues, so we kind of arranged many of my songs with a string quartet, and I have these such incredible musicians that, frankly, I get blown away every night. They're all kind of Broadway players. My violin player just won a Tony, for an arrangement, and so they're alone worth the price of admission. They're just incredible, and it allows me to pull songs out of my catalog that I probably wouldn't do with the rock band. I just spent 6 weeks out with the Bare Naked Ladies doing rock shows, and now we can kind of turn it around and do more intimate shows, and also, go behind the music, tell some stories, and for me, it's the way I love to see my favorite artists. I love to see James Taylor with the guitar, Elton at a piano, and so it really, as a performer, really allows us to I think, give a unique experience. So we're very excited. You guys are my second hometown. I grew up in Granada Hills. I went to Magic Mountain 2,000 times. I rode Colossus 5,000 times. I fished at Castaic. So it's crazy that we haven't played out there before. So long time coming, and we're very excited.
Who knew that this was your second home? That's so amazing. I love that you grew up. I did not know that you grew up in Granada Hills. We being in radio, the jocks usually have some history on the talent. And so I've known Five for Fighting. I know exactly what that means. But I was speaking to some other people. First and foremost, they think it's a group. And it's not. It's your stage name. Where did you get the stage name from?
Well, it's funny. L.A. Kings fans will appreciate this story. It was the late 90s, and it was the age of Lilith Fair, boy bands, you remember, grunge music, and I got my first record deal, and of course I was very excited, as working for, 15 years, grinding, and the record company came to me after I made my first record and said, the male singer-songwriter is dead, you need a band name, and I'd just gone to a L.A. Kings game, like I have my whole life, and Kings fans remember a guy named Marty McSorley, who was basically Wayne Gretzky's bodyguard. And that day, he'd gotten into a couple fights to protect Wayne, And when they said we need a band name, I was a little miffed, and I sarcastically said, how about Five for Fighting, expecting them to hate it. And they said, we love it. And I said, you're crazy. It sounds like we should be opening for Metallica. But off we went with Five for Fighting, and here we are 20 years later, still doing this. And it's cool, I think that for me, it's really about the songs. It's not about the guy. And to be honest with you, I've had some incredible experiences. I've played the Kings Ducks outdoor game at Dodger Stadium, All-Star games in town, and John Ondrasik probably doesn't play those gigs, but Five for Fighting does. So, it's had some good silver linings, and it's been a lot of fun.
And now everybody knows. Let's talk about the career that you've had behind the scenes as far as contributing to how about the Oscar-winning film The Blind Side, or TV shows like The Sopranos and Code Black and Hawaii Five-0? How did you dip a toe into that medium?
Of course, especially when you have popular songs, they tend to get licensed. But I also started working with some producers and music supervisors because I really liked writing songs for film. Some of them were songs, as I said, that were singles that found their way, like The Blind Side. That was a funny story because that song was temped in a big blockbuster film that every songwriter would love to have their song in. But this production company said, hey, we'd like to use your song in our movie. And I'm like, you guys, sorry, it's in this big 4th of July blockbuster. They said, let us send you the script because we know you're a sports guy, we know you're a family guy, and they sent me the script of The Blind Side, and I'm like, oh my God, this is an amazing film. It sounds like the song was written for it. And I told them, I'm like, you guys, okay, if I pull it from this thing, a lot of people are going to be mad at me, so tell me something, to give them some ammunition. And then they said, well, we want to be honest with you. It's a small budget. There's not going to be much of a marketing plan. And I said, you guys, lie to me. You're Hollywood. Tell me what I want to hear. And they said, okay. And I pulled it and I put in this little film, and who knew it would become the biggest sports movie ever. And I still watch it, every year on Channel 13. My song comes on, I make 12 cents, and it's a beautiful thing.
I love stories like that, and that's why I'm looking so forward to seeing you in a smaller venue, because I'm looking forward to hearing those stories. So please tell me when you do these dates, especially in Santa Clarita, that you're going to have some great stories like that.
That's really why we do these shows, because it's so interactive. The audience is right there. And I do have quite a bunch of stories. Some are funny, some are amusing, some I think are hopefully, heart-moving and inspiring. I've been so blessed to work with so many amazing charities and heroes, and had some crazy experiences. We'll probably talk about my trip to Ukraine and the Ukraine song that we did a year ago. And when you do stuff like that, and you see how music can matter, I think those are the things people love to hear about. And then the greatest thing about having some songs people know is that you can empower people who really deserve the spotlight. Our troops, our military families, people like that. So I like to recognize, our soldiers at every show, and it's a show for everyone. The kids, the grandparents. I had, young kids going to shows, and I learned very quickly, like, hey, you have a responsibility as a performer to make sure it's something that's great for kids. And so we think there's something for everybody, and there'll certainly be a story or two. And the quartet has some crazy stories too. So you never know what's going to happen.
And I love that about live theater. You brought up Ukraine, so let's talk about it. It's called Can One Man Save the World? This is a relatively new song, and you went to Ukraine to, correct me if I'm wrong, you filmed the video for this in Ukraine?
We did. It actually, it all started with, believe it or not, Afghanistan. When we withdrew from Afghanistan, I'd written a song critical of the withdrawal, and I started getting emails from people trapped, and it was so surreal. And I ended up working with many of these NGOs. We're still doing it to evacuate people from Afghanistan, and one of them, a group called Save Our Allies, when the war started in Ukraine, moved some of their resources there for humanitarian aid. And I'd written this song, Can One Man Save the World, kind of about the fortitude of the Ukrainian people. And I was actually looking to do a version of it in Poland with a Polish orchestra because, Poland was so amazing, took 4 million refugees. But long story short, we heard from the Ukrainian ministry that, hey, maybe we could go film it there. And my first thought was, do they even have an orchestra? But they were scattered across the country. We got them to Kyiv for 3 days. We were able to film in the Antonov airport, which was kind of hollowed ground for Ukrainians. It hangared the symbol of Ukrainian independence, which is actually an airplane. It's called the Maria. It's the largest cargo plane in the world. And early in the war, Putin destroyed it, trying to gut the will of the Ukrainians. So we were able to put this orchestra in front of this blown-up plane and put my piano in a pool of jet fuel and perform this song, which was, as you can imagine, incredibly emotional and every inspiring, frustrating, just angering, everything you could hear, but or feel. But for me, it was an experience I'll never forget. And everybody I met over there had either lost somebody, had someone on the front lines, or somebody missing. So it was certainly an eye-opening experience and something I'll never forget.
Thank you so much for supporting such a humanitarian effort. It just goes to show how great some of today's artists are just so involved. So thank you so much for that. We are talking right now, if you've just tuned in, we are talking to John Ondrasik, otherwise known as Five for Fighting. And Five for Fighting will be in town at Santa Clarita, the COC PAC, on, mark the calendar, September 9th. Tickets are going fast. I'm not even sure how many are left, but we do know that the Ventura, the Thousand Oaks dates, those are sold out. So you want to come here and see the show. It's part of the Spotlight series, 8 p.m. Saturday, September 9th, main stage. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got lots of stories and, of course, some great songs from Five for Fighting. Would you do us the honor right now? I'm going to play 100 Years. Would you do me the honor of introducing your song?
Well, everybody's in here somewhere. If you're not, you're 101, and God bless you. But 100 Years is really about appreciating the moment. And sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not so great, but it's all we have when you only got 100 years to live.
John Ondrasik, thank you so much. Five for Fighting, 100 Years on KHTS.